welcome back to the Violin Spot. You are with your host Sky, and today we are going to be teaching you guys how to hold the violin and how to hold the bow. Yes, we need to start from the basics, like I said in my first and introduction video, which you can go to if you need to come back. Yeah, so you can go there first and then come back here, because in that video I explained the criteria of what we're going to be learning in these next few videos and what the ultimate goal is, which is trying to teach you guys how to play the violin, right? Right. And I also had taught, and hopefully you guys gained the insight of the different strings on the violin, which there are 4 strings. You have the G, D, A, E string, and they all have notes on them, which I explained in my last video, which you can go and refer back to that if you want to come back to this one after. But either or, if you're here in this video first, it's completely fine. But if you want to stick around, you want to continue learning, then I would recommend going to that video first so that you know what we're going to be doing. But if you're just here so you can learn, well, I'm glad you're here. Make sure you like this video, subscribe, and comment. Any questions, I'm here. I will make videos based on comments and recommendations as well. So yeah, like I said, in this video, we're going to be teaching you guys how to hold the violin and how to hold the bow. Okay, so first things first, I'm going to be teaching you guys how to hold the bow. But right now, ultimately, when you're holding a violin, it is recommended that you have one of these. What is this? This is a shoulder rest. This is to make sure that the violin is comfortably on your shoulder, and it should be somewhat, anyways, somewhat comfortable on your neck. So it's going to be underneath the violin like that. So I am going to connect this to my violin. You are going to connect it where it slides on properly and it fits on your shoulder properly. And just like that, boom, right. So yeah, make sure you have a shoulder rest, which is very important for your comfort of holding the violin. So beginning with the bow. Right. So with the bow is very delicate. When you remove it out of its case, it's going to be loosened up. As you can see, there's barely any space in between the bow and the bow hairs. Also, it is recommended that you don't touch the bow hairs because it will turn a different color. It is not going to be pleasant, and it's not going to be good to play the violin with. If you look at the bottom of my bow, it kind of has like a color differentiation right here and there. It's not because I'm touching it, it's just, it gets weared out obviously at some point, and that's not bad if it's just at the end of your bow. So once it comes like this, you want to take it out and you want to turn the bottom of this almost like a screw. You are going, not a screw, what word would I use for that? I don't know, but you're going to twist it until you see it widening. And when you see it like that, you're good. So you don't want to tighten it too much to the point where it's a straight line through and you can put your pinky through it and slide easily. No, you want it to the point where there's like a dip in it. You want to make sure it's tight enough that your pinky can fit through and it's tight on the pinky and not so loose. So you want it to be tight on the pinky, and you want it to have a dip. I don't know if you can see the dip, but there is a dip instead of it being straight. So yes. Right, now to explain the bow itself. So bow is very delicate. How delicate is it? I have broken a bow before. I will rest assure you that bows can break. So make sure you stow your bow and your violin in a case. And where it is protected. I did just hit my violin just there, but it is fine. But make sure that they are both in safe places. You don't want them on the floor or just out of its case or just lying around, because anything can happen, especially if you have siblings or relatives just in the house with you. All right, so explain the bow. This is the frog of your bow. The frog of the bow is the end area of your bow. So like I said again, this is very important to remember when playing the violin. This is the frog of the bow, the thicker part of the bow. Then you have the middle of the bow, and then you have the tip of the bow. This is the tip, middle, frog, middle, tip. Okay. So with the bow hold, this is what everyone seems to do wrong when they jump to just play the violin. They think it's okay to hold a bow like this. This is very much so incorrect, because when you play the violin, there's no way you're going to get good sound playing like this. Right. You're not going to get good sound because there's no stability with playing like this. You're very stiff, and it's just not, your shoulder's going to be angled incorrectly, and holding this is just uncomfortable. So, mistake number 1, grabbing your bow and playing like this. There's just no balance, there's no control, there's nothing with holding it like this. So, you're going to turn your bow horizontally, or you can do it vertically, but we're going to do it horizontally for this demonstration. So with the frog of the bow, this is where you're going to hold it. So your thumb, you're going to take your thumb and you hold your bow with your right hand, because your violin is going to be in your left hand. It doesn't matter if you're left-handed, you are not going to hold your bow with your left hand. That is a common mistake too. You're not going to hold a bow with your left hand. It doesn't matter if you're left-handed. You have to hold it with your right hand. So, with your right hand, you're going to take your thumb and put it underneath here. Like in the little crease of the frog right here where it's like a little U. Right there. So you're going to put your thumb there. And so I'm going to show it from this angle. And you're going to put your thumb like this through here. So just have it in there, make sure it's snug. That's how you know you're doing it right. So you're gonna put your thumb through here, and you're going to see this part right here of your bow. You're going to put your finger over here, your index finger across here. Then you're going to take these 2 fingers, your middle and your ring finger, and you're gonna lie it right here on the base of the frog like this. And you are going to take your pinky and put it on the edge right there. And that's a bow hold. So again, you're going to take your thumb, put it through here, make sure it's snug, put your index across here, put these 2 on the base, and put your pinky on the end. And you have your violin bow hold. You guys probably think it's going to be uncomfortable at first, because I remember when I started playing, it is very uncomfortable and hard to get used to playing with like this. Sometimes it's still a little uncomfortable just having this finger like here. Sometimes I'll just play like this with my pinky out and it won't even be on here. But yeah, this is your basic and most common bow hold. So I'm gonna show you guys from this angle too. So here's the bow. Your thumb goes underneath here. You're gonna cross this finger over here. Have these 2 go on the base, like I said, the base, and have this go on the end. Ultimately, you should end up with your hand looking like this. And now you have a better grip with playing the violin, because you are now playing it. You have more control over it because you can move it. And it's more controlling over than this. So again, wrong, right. And eventually when you continue to practice your bow hold, you're eventually just going to be able to just plop your fingers on here and just like know the position without having to do all this. Like, okay, am I doing it right? Like, no, you're just gonna, yeah, and you have more control over your bow. So that was the first thing, holding the bow. And ultimately, if you know that you have the correct bow hold, you should be able to move it and control it. Get a feel by it by lifting your arm up like this, kind of like flapping your arm, and then just like moving your wrist with the bow. And try to get used to doing this. Maybe do this a couple of times, and when you get used to it, plop your fingers there in place. Now you got a proper bow hold. Right, now with the violin, the most important thing you need to know is how to hold your violin. And like I said with the bow, it doesn't matter if you're left or right-handed. you have to put this on your left side, and you have to hold your bow with your right hand. The most common mistake, people will try to put their violin on their opposite side with the hand that they don't write with, because that's what they're used to, but no. So with the violin, like I said, you're going to need a shoulder rest. Make sure it sits comfortably on your shoulder. I explained in my last video how you could put the shoulder rest on. So you can put this on your shoulder for like an example of how, like, where it's supposed to be on your violin, because there is a short side and there's a thicker side. The thicker side is where you want to put it on top of your violin, and this is on my left side of my violin. Just flip it over. You're going to put the larger side on the left side and the shorter side on the right side. You're going to slide it up and you're going to place it here. And this is my left side. So you're going to place your shoulder rest where it feels comfortably, and your chin obviously will rest on the chin rest itself. So you place the violin on your shoulder, make sure it feels comfortable, and place your chin on the chin rest. And with the shoulder rest, you should be able to comfortably let go of your instrument, and it should be stable. And if it falls, your shoulder rest is not on properly, or it is not placed correctly on your shoulder. Should be like this. It should feel fine. Chin on chin rest, shoulder rest on shoulder, and it should be comfortable. Mind you, it should be going across this way on your left side of your body. It should not be angled like this, because this is very uncomfortable, and your violin should not be placed in front of you either. It should be going across like your shoulder is aligned with the violin itself. And if you just need support for your violin, take your hand, put it on your place it on your right side of your violin, and it'll have more stability. So yeah, this is how you will hold your violin when you play. And let me show you from another angle. So I have my violin. I'm placing it on my left side of my shoulder, and I'm going to put and rest my chin on the chin rest itself. It is not in front of me. It is not angled like this. It is not completely in front of me. It is going across my body and on my left shoulder. Sorry, my left shoulder. And it should be able to stand by its own or rest on its own without you having to hold it if you have a shoulder rest. All right, so I'm not going to be teaching how to play it currently, but with your violin hold, with your bow hold, you should ultimately end up with something like this. Violin across your shoulder, like I said, and with the bow hold, that looks just like this. Once you have this, you are getting prepared to playing your violin. And now I'm going to practice with you guys. This is a technique that we call air bowing. Air bowing is actually like this, where you're like playing up, when you have up bow, down bow, up bow, down bow. So yes, when we're playing our music, there are going to be up bows and down bows when you go down, because I'm going to demonstrate what a down bow is. Down bow means you're pulling your violin down. Up bow is pushing your bow up. Down, up. So this is air bowing. So this means you are not touching the strings. So ultimately, like I said, your bow hold and grip should be held like this. This is how you should be able to hold a violin bow. This is how you should be able to hold a violin bow. And this is how you should be able to hold your violin. You can hold on to it. I like to hold on to it so that I know it's going to stay there, although I know it will be. But it's always better to have security and stability. So I would, if you still want to get a feel for it, make sure that when you're holding your bow, it should look like this. And here's air bowing, down bow, up bow. If you just want to practice holding your violin and holding your bow, you should be able to easily move your bow like this, down and up. Now here's another thing. Here are two more very important tips when holding your bow and holding your violin. So when you're going to play, your thumb, so when you're actually holding your violin, your thumb needs to be placed on the left side of your violin. It needs to be at least right here. This is where your thumb should be placed. Usually with your violin, it will have tapes. This is why I have one tape on here. It's like this black tape going across the violin, but there will be 3 tapes. That's better recommended for beginners because it'll help you know where your notes are. But there will be one according right here. So your thumb will be placed here. So like I said, put it back on your shoulder. Your thumb will be placed just like this. And you see how these fingers fall on this side? They're going to curve over. So you're going to have your thumb, like I said, again, on the left side of your violin. And it's like you're doing an okay sound, like okay. But your thumb is going to, but it's going to be angled like this, like a side okay. But your thumb is going to be on the left side of your violin, and your fingers that fall this way are going to be on the right side, and you're going to curve them over. And ultimately, your violin hold should look like this. And make sure that your arm, it should be in like an L shape, and it should be comfortable, and it should be loose. You should be able to easily move your fingers and easily have a firm grasp with your thumb on the side of your violin, and it should look something like this. Now from this point of view, usually, so I can show you guys what it looks like, you're going to take your hand, your left hand, put your thumb on the left side of your violin, make sure you have a good grip on it, and have these four rest of your fingers curve over. And it's going to look like this. Like I said, it's going to look like an okay. You can do an okay like this, but these two fingers are not going to connect. You're going to have your thumb right here, and you're going to have these four fingers curve over. And why we do this is so that you can easily have your fingers fall flat on here when you are going to be playing your notes for a song or for a scale. And it's very easy. So thumb, fingers curve. And make sure, like I said, your arm is in a comfortable position and it's in an L shape. That is your simple violin hold. This is how it should ultimately look like when you are playing or holding your violin. Now with the bow, like I said, one more time, finger underneath, index over this, these two fingers fall on the base, and this one on the tip. You should be able to have control over your bow. So you're going to be holding your violin like this, and your bow like this. So when you're playing, this arm should be extended like this, and when you're going to ultimately play the violin, you should be able to pull your bow and control it, pull it down, make sure your arm extends, pull it down, up, extend, close, extend, close. But me, I have my fingers open like this as if you need to play an open bow or an open string, but really it is recommended that you have your fingers hovered over and your thumb on here. So when you're playing, it should look something like this. Extend, close, extend, close, extend, close, extend, close. That is the basic bow hold and the basic violin hold. So again, at the end, it should look like this. And if you have this, congrats, you're already a professional. You're already there, already to that speed. You're not okay, it's maybe not professional, but you guys know what I mean. So if you have that down, that is great for you. You are on the right track of how to play the violin. You are getting there. We are at a great start. So if you have your bow hold and you have your violin hold, just wait till my next video. In my next video, I will be teaching you guys, like I said, how to play the D major scale, or maybe I didn't say that in the beginning, but in my next video, I will be teaching you guys how to play the D major scale so it can help prepare you play songs, and how to play your violin actually, because I'm going to teach you guys how to pluck it and how to actually utilize the bow on the violin. So if this video helped you, make sure you like this video, like I said in the beginning, subscribe, and leave a comment down below. So if you guys have comments or any recommendations for me, I will make those videos according to you guys. So if this video was helpful, I am very grateful. I am blessed, and I hope it really did help you guys out. This is what I'm here for. And like I said, I may not be professional myself. I am a high school student, not saying that I'm not on the professional level. It's just I've played the violin. I think I'm just trying to provide for a community or for people who want to learn how to play this instrument, because it is really a beautiful instrument, and I think everybody should get to know how to play it. It's really easy to learn how to play, but it does take time. It's not that it doesn't come easily to you. So yeah, so I'm glad you guys stuck around. If you did, I'm very happy. yeah, so till next time, I will see you guys later. Thank you for tuning in.